Welcome to your favorite movie review channel, Mann Cinema Reviews, with its ever so lovely host. That's me, Peter Mann. What's up, y'all? Today we're gonna be reviewing She Said, but before we do that, go ahead, press like, subscribe, and be sure to hit the notification bell as well to notify you of any content that I post to this channel. Without further ado, thank you very much for choosing Mann Cinema Reviews. The film details New York Times journalists Megan Twohey and Jodi Kantor as they investigate sexual misconduct in the Hollywood landscape by the hands of infamous film producer Harvey Weinstein. So, with that, we have a very explosive story, true account of two journalists at the New York Times, Megan Twohey and Jodi Kantor, played by Carey Mulligan and Zoe Kazan, respectively. And what I liked about this film is just how earnest and important it is for print media to be on top of pertinent issues, especially during this explosive Me Too movement in the aftermath of Harvey Weinstein and the sexual misconduct that has been plagued by Hollywood just decades and decades. And it's great to break the silence of just horrendous and atrocious affairs in the Hollywood landscape. It's crazy how a lot of these women were silenced, signing NDAs, being paid for their silence, as well as just having this conduct be a regular norm, and how Harvey Weinstein and moguls like himself were able to get away with just these atrocities years after years after years. So it's great to have this story brought to the big screen. And with journalistic films, I just really take precedent for their films. And I like the way that they do these type of films, like All President's Men. One of my favorites as of late, Spotlight, as I have it behind me right here displayed, is just wonderful stories. And it's great that the print media can be there and be such a big influence still in this current modern landscape. Now with She Said, what I liked about the film is how earnest it is with the journalistic integrity of how they report the sexual misconduct. I like the fact that they have to work around these non-disclosure agreements for these women to be silenced in fear of being sued and being sought after, but they work their way around things that were never reported, production assistants that had dealings with Weinstein, and just murmurings going on, and the fact that they could blow the lid off with this story is important to tell. And Carey Mulligan and Zoe Kazan just really are straight shooters. I like the fact that there's a no frills. It feels like an honest, real take of these journalists, because you see them at home. It's crazy how they are very big, important journalistic figures that even have families outside of their work. They're busy moms. They have lives outside of their journalistic integrity, but they conquer so much and do so much just as women. And I like the fact that that film highlights this. Where I feel the film, it gets a little stale and stagnant, is where we just couldn't have stronger writing. And I do realize that Maria Schrader directs it with very poised and posh integrity. I really like how polished this film looks and how real and honest it is. With no Hollywood frills, there's nothing that really feels exploitative or feels nationalistic in reporting the news. It's very real. It's like a real take on what these journalists go through day in and day out. However, I feel like the film's script could have been elevated with more pizzazz, a little bit more danger. And I know that these women's lives were endangered. They had people tailing them, there were threats. And I do realize that these women have, families that they have to take and consider when doing this really explosive expose of sexual misconduct, especially how powerful Harvey Weinstein was. So the fact that I think that the film just felt a little stale and stagnant in moments where the film spotlight was just very emotionally involved and enthralling. I felt that there were lulls in She Said. But other than that, I feel like this is the most honest take of journalistic integrity, and I really think this is a important story to tell. I think that the story could have been elevated with thematic elements that could have taken the film into higher heights, and I think that even the box office numbers reflect that. I don't think that people saw a big draw. I know that Carey, Mulligan, and Zoe Kazan are great actors in their craft, but there's not a lot of talk being generated by their performances. Whether they were great and honest, there just hasn't been a buzz for She Said. And I wonder if there's still pushback from movie studios not wanting to tackle this. It's great that Universal Pictures has been in front of such great films, Spotlight included, Straight Outta Compton, just these real true story accounts with great aspirations cinematically. I just feel like She Said just went the course, played it safe in pockets, and I really think that it could have been a little bit dangerous, a little bit edgy, a little bit rough around the edges, and it really could have elevated to new heights. But with that being said, I think this is one of the most important films of this year. Mann Cinema Reviews will give it a strong 4 stars. But what did you think of it? Did you agree with what I had on my take, or did you think that it was elevated? Let your thoughts speak for themselves down below, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.